Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. Except the blood of the poor and the way they mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
Welcome again. We're back this week in White Supremacy. We got a lot going on. We might be a long show, you know what I'm saying? But welcome. We know we're going to talk about apologies. I don't know if we're going to get another one maybe later on in the show from one of the people in these 4 parts. But my name is Jasiri X. I am the co-founder CEO of One Hood Media. Good to see y'all, my brother Soviet Saeed. What you texting Putin?
Spoko noche, comrade. That's good night in Russian.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I only know a handful of words in Russian. That's it. I know how to say thank you and das vidanya. See you later.
Do you know how to say I'm sorry though?
It's too late to apologize. It's too late. It's too late. What I gotta apologize for? I don't have to apologize for anything.
Dumped and abandoned. Miracle, how are you doing today?
I'm just here, thankfully, gracefully, trying to be above, the negativity soaring. I'm here.
We'll get into the twin.
I'm here.
The twin drama.
Excuse me. That replies it's mutual. I did nothing wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
I did. You did nothing wrong. Okay. And my brother, with the green, right? Nature loves Shaheen. You know what I'm saying? What's going on?
I'm your new brother Nature. You know what I'm saying? You can call me Brother Earth. You feel me? We go on green all rest of this winter.
Oh, okay. So what brought that on? Anything bring that on? You just said
I was just like, I want to try a color I haven't tried before. Gotcha. And I want to be a little bold. You know what I'm saying? Some unnatural shit.
I mean, we gotta be.
Let's do green.
Hey, bro, all this white supremacy we up against the first week of Black History Month. I mean, we're talking about week 1, and it has been pretty bananas this week. So we got to be bold. I feel like we got to be bold. I mean, particularly if we, as a small up-and-coming podcast, are going to challenge and talk about the #1 podcaster in the world. And so, I guess we'll just start right there. Joe Rogan, you probably know him. If you don't know him, Joe Rogan been saying nigga for a long time as a white man.
That's just a wild statement. That should be the title of this podcast. Joe Rogan been saying nigga for a long time.
And it's documented. It was on the internet. It's not like Spotify. I mean, come on. You telling me Spotify, the biggest streamer in the world, didn't have somebody doing due diligence to look at what Joe Rogan was talking about? Obviously, they didn't care. They gave that man $100 million, and then it came out. So did we want to play a little bit of the Joe Rogan nigga clips and then maybe a little bit of Joe Rogan's apology to niggas? Let's play a little bit.
Should we place a trigger warning?
Trigger warning, right.
Trigger warning.
If you are triggered by white people saying the N-word, just turn this whole, like if you're triggered by apologies, crying, colorism,
yeah, all of that.
Cultural appropriation, you probably shouldn't be watching this because we're dealing with all of that. So warning, strong content. Let's see what Joe Rogan's talking about, man.
The nigger thing.
Yeah, saying the word nigger.
I already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger. She's calling you a nigger. It's like this boy that he's a nigger and starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger.
Has Jimmy like right over his shoulder.
Niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our niggers start saying nigger. How to use the word nigger? Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger, and you couldn't say nigger. And most nigger.
He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, there's he Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude.
Can you pause that? Can you pause that right there?
Wow. I actually haven't. I wanted to withhold watching it until tonight.
But before we get into his apology, because one, and it's hard to tell by those clips. I'd be interesting to know if when he, and he was just letting nigga flow. He was letting it. It wasn't no stuttering. It wasn't no. He's letting it flow. I'd be interested in if there were black people in that studio at that time, right? Or because I know that the clips that I saw where he was saying nigga that were wider, I didn't see any black people in the studio in that conversation with him. And clearly there were no black people with him when he told his story about going to see Planet of the Apes, right? He told that story and he talked about, yeah, we getting into it now. We got this sign language for you. You did you plan on coming after Joe Rogan said all those N-words? You have to sign. You have to sign Joe Rogan saying nigga 15 times. That was a great move.
Get carpal tunnel after that, like.
So, question. What was it? Okay, so is there anything worse than nigga? Because I've saw some people say that him saying he walked into and he was telling a story about being in Philadelphia, wanting to see Planet of the Apes, and he's going into a black community, and he said when he walked in, it was Planet of the Apes. Is that worse? Him saying walking into a black, or is it just white people? You saying the N-word? That's a done deal. What do y'all think?
It's just as bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not really worse. It's just like that, kind of justifies the reasoning behind his use of the N-word. Yeah. It's like clearly you have no problem with using this language because you see us as like not worth using any respectable language.
Yeah. You see us as apes. Miracle?
I mean, is there anything worse than what he said? There's a lot of things that are worse, but a racist person being racist isn't shocking or surprising. No. And the fact that he had to be like, yes, Planet of the Apes was not in Africa, and I don't even know why Africa was even relevant to that conversation. We were just going to a black area and we just decided to call them monkeys and link that to Africa. I think it just shows you his train of thought, but at the end of the day, this is what Spotify wanted on their platform. This is what they looked for, and this is what they sought after, and this is what other people have sought after, his approval and his voice. So they wanted anti-blackness, and now that it's profitable for them, they're not moving away from it.
And it's really like it's a lot of language and a lot of stuff that white men want as well. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously him saying nigga that many times, him calling black people Planet of the Apes, which he even said himself was racist. He even like stops himself after saying Planet of the Apes and says, damn, that was racist. Like what I just said was racist. Even he said that. So did we want to play a little bit of his apology? Can you bring that back, maybe, John?
It's too late to apologize.
No white people.
I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word.
The greatest
and
hits.
It looks fucking horrible.
I mean, you already said it. Watch this yourself now.
That I have to address.
Right.
I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia.
Oh, blame it on the drugs.
We didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab.
Blame
it on the drugs and the cab driver.
And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly
when I called you ape,
never want to offend someone.
When I called you porch monkey
for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. Makes me sick watching.
It was just to be funny, right? It was just like, hey, I just want to entertain. You know what I'm saying? Like
it sounded like high school. Like, I went to a few different high schools, and I ended up graduating from a predominantly white high school after coming from a predominantly black one. And I remember having the conversation around that, like, because I was the only black kid on a baseball team, and they were like, "Oh, we're not saying nigger, like, get it, like, nah, like, there's no joke in that. You get me? Right, like, there's no joke. Once you say it, bro, we got arms. Like we got arms at that point. Like it's that's it. There's no, you know what I mean? There's nothing around that. Like you're trying to make a joke. Like there's no entertainment value around the N-word unless we say it.
No, it's entertainment. He's entertaining other white men.
Exactly.
So you think white men aren't out there joking, making racist jokes to one another, laughing, calling you people nigga? I mean, we've seen it. I mean, you've seen in recent years, right, where we've been able to get like police text messages or police access to police like chat boards and Facebook groups, and they're saying nigga, they're calling us monkeys, they're like all this type of dehumanizing language. They're putting them in memes, they're laughing and joking. So they're absolutely, that is entertaining. Like a white person calling us niggas or apes or monkeys to other white people. That he's right. Because he's not entertaining us. I mean, I don't know too many. I mean, I know you was a fan of Joe Rogan. I don't.
It wasn't. No. I'm thank you for saying that, because I liked his commentary on boxing and martial arts. Right?
He was like, kick that nigga. That nigga can kick. That nigga got hands.
But no, I mean, it was always weird the way he would talk about black fighters, because he would always talk about black people like they were aliens, like they were just like these otherworldly beings for one way or the other, right? It was like this magical experience he had at the foot of blackness. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was always, but it always did seem kind of like fetishizing. You know what I mean? Like when he would talk about black athleticism and black fighting, black fighters. It was always in that vein, but like his apology was kind of just like, it's just jokes.
Yeah, I was just trying to be. I'm not trying to be racist. I was trying to be.
Yeah, it's just jokes. Like, why are you upset? It's just jokes. Like that. That's what I ascertained from his apology. Miracle,
his apology. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think about his apology, at all. I am not someone who like was familiar all the time with the work that he did. I just knew from some of his prior podcast episodes that he was just not someone that I liked in my sphere. So I don't think about his apology. I think he had zero accountability because he said he did it for entertainment, but then it wasn't racism for entertainment purposes. So I think it was just like disingenuous, and the idea that like this only came about because India Ari, like all Black women, have to sit there and like fight for the betterment of people and be like, listen, this is why I do not want me and my music associated with this individual. Other people can talk about different things, but for like me and my house, I don't want to put money into his family and into his mouth. I think that is why he had to come out and apologize, because once there was a principled stand about not only the content that he was creating, but the character that he displayed. He had no other choice. And I also want to say he kind of like stole your look. Like he was in front of his bookshelf. He was like, let me be out here trying to look like I have some sense. It's like, nah, Joe, stay who you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Shy Nature, Brother
Listen,
Nature.
Man, I think it was hilarious that he said, listen, when I said that, I stepped into Planet of the Apes and that it looked like I was in Africa, I wasn't trying to be racist. It's like, bro, so in your sentence, you're saying, yeah, when I dehumanized these niggers, I wasn't being racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, what else were you doing?
Right.
You feel me? It's like there's a clear intent in the parallel that you tried to draw that can't be nulled by the fact that you were trying to entertain.
And you can say that. You can say like he said actually in the clip, he says like where he talks about Planet Apes, he actually says if you watch it longer that was racist. Like you can say, hey, that statement that I made, that was racist. I should have never said that. That was wrong. I wholeheartedly apologize. And I'm not going to say anything. I chose to remove that episode. Like you can say that, like it's okay to take accountability. We know it. That's not even a question of whether or not it's racist. That's not even a question of whether like you constantly using the N-word. Obviously that's racist. You know what I'm saying? So a couple of questions that I have, and I do want to come to you, Miracle. Spotify, because I do find it kind of wild that they then take out not like first it was 70 episodes, but over 100 episodes. Like, this is where when you give somebody, you're telling me you gave this dude $100 million and you didn't know there were over 100 episodes that had slurs or whatever derogatory negative language. There was a clip where he was like trying to like coach another white dude in the same, like almost daring another white dude to say nigga, which he does. There was a clip where some white guys on his show talking about that black people have a violence gene, a gene that like actually makes us more violent, which is absolutely ridiculous and historical if you want to get into the history. And so what do you think about Spotify's response, which was, our bad, we're going to take 100 million and we're going to give it to marginalized groups to do, I don't know what with, but what do you think of that?
I think it's hilarious that like somebody said they price matched racism, and it's just like, nah, bro. Like, you're literally saying that
them 100 million, we'll give y'all niggas 100 million.
It wasn't even niggas who get 100 million. They said marginalized community. So it's not even black people who are benefiting from this money. They didn't even go to Philly and say, okay, what black neighborhood needs the most support and investment? We'll work with you as a result. But it's kind of funny that they're going over all these like prior episodes and they're like, oh, this is bad. Oh, this is like really, really bad. Because they knew who he was when they hired him, number one. Right. Number two, and again, everyone has the right to free speech, to question, to theorize. But it's just like, at the end of the day, he consistently platforms white supremacists.
True.
There are people who believe all type of horrible things about black people. There are people who write all types of horrible articles, but you don't have to give them the platform. He intentionally and repeatedly seeks out these white supremacists, whether it was the Spencer dude, who ended up getting punched and like falling away, Jordan Peterson, who's been transphobic and homophobic and like anti-black, and he was making jokes. He seeks out these people and seeks their guidance, and then feigns this, well, I was just asking them questions. Why are you mad at me? Type thing. And that's kind of the problem with like his brand, and like him and Dana White. They've used like the sports arena to actually manifest their white supremacy. So even now, when the black players are saying pay us equally, pay us equitably, they don't, and they don't celebrate them. They don't put them on shows and merch. When Connor was out here calling people boy and getting into fights, Dana stuck beside him and tried to fight to make sure he was still employable. And so it's the people that they surround themselves with always have this universal language of anti-blackness. And that's why a lot of people just don't mess with them.
Right. I mean, you talked about the guy, Jordan Peterson. We just had that clip on the show, right? Where they were talking about, is Michael Eric Dyson really black? And, oh no, we're the same color and all of this, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's not like he's saying like, okay, I'm gonna have this white supremacist, but then I'm gonna have, some black comma, I have Dr. Umar or Minister Farrakhan or something. It's not like he's doing that, right? It's
was it Rizzy or what's his name? I forgot. The new guy would eat Joe Rogan up, but at the same time, the NOI is taking over concern.
Oh, you talking Rizzy? He's about Rizzy.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. Just like you said, if he was doing both, if he was saying we're gonna give some white supremacists and we're gonna give some black radical individuals.
What's his name? Phil Donahue? Like Phil Donahue?
Exactly. We're going to get right. If he was, but he's not, right? Doesn't you said? Right. And somebody like put a list out and showed like how many times these white supremacists were on there. I want to come to you, Shai and Saeed as artists, right? Because I think Miracle made a point. I'm sorry. Miracle's name changed and it just made me laugh. So what I wanted to ask, right? Because like you said, here's India.Arie, a black woman, right? And really, set this off, came out and said, hey, I don't want my music on the same platform. Now, India.Arie as successful, like we love India.Arie, but we have much, we got Beyonce, we got Rihanna, like we got big artists. Should our artists, like our big artists, our big name artists, like, do you see some type of movement where those artists kind of come together and say, you know what, we're gonna, because we do have that power, right? If Beyonce and Jay-Z and Rihanna and all of these huge Kanye and all these people said, hey yo, we're gonna take our stuff off as well, right? As collectively as Black music, we're gonna take our stuff off and you're gonna have to go somewhere else to have Black music. That probably would put Spotify in a position where they had to get rid of them. Do we see something like that happening?
I mean, most of them don't own their music to do that. That's the thing. It's like, like most of them, like I think it was a good one. What you said?
I said that was a good one. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like India Ari, I'm surprised that she owns her masters, and I'm happy she does in order for her to get that. But like, all these artists that want to pull it off Spotify, had a conversation with your record label first off,
right? And
then secondly, have it with your team.
But you have people like Jay-Z has his masters. Beyonce probably has access. Like you do have, like it's not like Rihanna needs money from Spotify. I mean,
no.
So like, it's not like Jay-Z needs streaming money.
Here's where the smoke and mirrors about that comes, and I don't want to turn this into a conversation about the inner workings of the record industry. But when they say they have their masters, they have a portion. They have the masters too.
But if Jay-Z comes out. Like you said, but if Jay-Z says don't play me on Spotify, or Beyonce or Rihanna says,
they have to listen.
Right, that becomes a major thing. Trouble, do you think? I mean, because we had this similar question last week with the Super Bowl, right? If Dre and Snoop and Kendrick and all them say, hey yo, we ain't rocking on the Super Bowl unless the NFL settle this lawsuit or do something to bring Cap back. Like it's power that we have. It seems like we're not utilizing it though, that we're on some like, yo, it's not that big a deal. Let's go along to get along. You even have some Black people like co-signing Joe Rogan in his apology.
Yeah, I don't like, realistically, I don't see any major action happening off of this, because I don't really expect those bigger artists to be activists, because that's not the platform that they built for themselves. And that's not, what they got into it for, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think if they did, start some big action, that change could come about, but I wouldn't waste my energy hoping for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I mean, The Rock, I guess The Rock maybe came back onto our side. I don't know. Like The Rock.
More conversation in pre-production, right? When we were talking about what Black artist, what Black entertainer.
Yeah.
It has a large enough fan base to challenge Joe Rogan. Does The Rock, because he's like the most popular person on the planet, could successfully challenge Joe Rogan's stance?
No, I mean, I think if The Rock kind of came out and said, like, so for instance, I'll give you.
Hold on, before you go, what if The Rock said, me as a sometimes Black person, right?
Don't diss my light-skinned brethren, okay?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of The Rock.
I thought you was gonna say I'm a huge light-skinned.
I mean, I'm that too. I'm not huge, I'm 5'8", but like, you know what I mean? But what if he was like, me as a Black person, I am offended, and I'm challenging Joe Rogan, not on like some WWE SmackDown type shit, but like, to really like hold yourself accountable.
So I'll give you an example, right? Like it was a basically this had to be like maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15. Arizona passed a law that was very much oppressive to undocumented folks. Mm-hmm. It was like basically like profiling brown folks, called SB 1070. Yeah. At that time, Rage Against the Machine was it's still one of the biggest rock groups. The lead singer,
Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah, Zach De La Rocha, Rage Against the Machine, basically said, I'm not going to perform in Arizona, and I want to encourage other artists to boycott, right? So you could have a situation where somebody like The Rock says, I'm not doing Joe Rogan show, and I would encourage any other celebrity not to go on his platform and not to do his show. I don't know if that would affect his, streams or not, like Joe Rogan stream, but he could do that, right? The Rock is big enough to say, I got Kevin Hart, I got some of these other celebrities all of the Fast and Furious, I guess, except for Vin Diesel, whatever. And I'm gonna say, hey, everybody come with me. Like, he can do that. But like I said, I think to me more powerfully would be if these musicians, these big, if Neil Young and of course Neil Young and Janis Joplin did it on because of his COVID misinformation. You know, there are like, we have big, huge music artists that do a lot of streams. We got, you know, does Bruno Mars count? I mean, he's something, right? He's
Taino, right?
Yeah, it's like, so we got all these not only black artists, but artists that Cardi B, like, but artists that are also inspired by black musicians. If they all just said, yo, man, Spotify, nah, take our shit off. All of us. You know what I'm saying? Collectively, take our shit off. I mean, it could mean something. You know what I'm saying? Are we all weak links when we don't do that, Miracle?
You know, as someone who isn't really able to co-opt in and out of blackness, I don't understand what rock could or could not do in these situations. I think that, like, you had Talib, who was out here saying, you know, this is who Joe Rogan is, and y'all only care about this because he doesn't, you know, subscribe to the MSM interpretation of COVID-19. Right. So there are a lot of people who are really out here, like, still caping for Joe Rogan, don't feel moved by the situation, even though it's during Black History Month. So no, I don't think artists are going to come together and say we're taking our stuff off. It's like, no, Obama and Beyonce aren't doing anything about it. Right, nobody's really going to move. And again, Spotify already doesn't pay artists anything for their streams, so it would be a collective action to say, hey, you know, we're going to move back to Tidal, or we're going to move, you know, to some other, you know, streaming service, like, because we don't want. But we also saw that a conservative company who said, you know what, we'll be willing to pay you, Joe Rogan, $100 million to come to our channel and be as racist as you want it to be.
Yeah, it's Peter Thiel, who's a racist, you know. Yeah, Peter Thiel, who basically stepped down from Facebook's board to help Trump win.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. But I didn't see it.
He said, I'll give you $100 million, come over to my stuff, and you don't have to worry about apologizing to none of them niggas, basically.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
That's deep.
Yeah. So you're right. And I think, you know, Miracle, like, people look and know, like, he has a huge platform. So it's like that caping is also like hoping, you know, it's like the whole thing of like hoping one day, I don't want to be too radical because maybe one day, you know, Master gonna open up the mansion door and let me be, you know, let me have 4 or 5 rooms. It's kind of like that idea of like, if I just, you know, accept, you know, white oppression and white supremacy, and I do a little tap dance and I smile, that I, you know, maybe the American dream will be gifted onto me, and I'll be one of them like lucky ones that gets this money or gets this fame. You know what I'm saying? And so I think like somebody that has that big of a platform, we see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Any other final comments about Joe Rogan before? And thank you, Virginia. Joni Mitchell. I said Janis Joplin. I'm Joni Mitchell. That's a correction.
I thought Janis Joplin was dead.
And that's why, you know, Virginia corrected me. She's dead. She is.
I'll let you live on that, because I mean, maybe her estate could have done it. You get me?
Yeah, maybe that would be dope too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, we probably are not going to see this happen. But you did mention moving in and out of blackness, Miracle, and unfortunately, you know, Light Skin Nation kind of took a couple L's. You know, The Rock definitely was an L. Although, you know, The Rock came back and said he didn't know about Joe Rogan using the N-word and
gave us the people's elbow.
You do with the puns again today, brother? You bringing the puns back?
That one was kind of mid. I mean, you could do better.
On the fly. I'm getting the feel for it. Give me some time. I got some up my sleeve.
So I don't know if you have that video, John, but the actress Tandy Newton, you know, is a light-skinned black woman. I guess, is she biracial?
Yeah, her dad, one of her parents is actually African.
Okay, right. Because one of her parents, she was saying, is like dark-skinned.
Yeah, her mom's actually from Africa.
Yeah, but right. So I mean, I don't know. Was she implanted?
Was she what, implanted?
I'm just gonna say something totally inappropriate. Or some Joe Rogan. Like, don't even worry about it.
What?
So anyway, You caught it. You
I
caught it.
missed it. I'm totally.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry. It was terrible. I caught myself. Thank you. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Light-skinned people, we done took enough losses this month already. One weekend.
I mean, you can say that. I can't. So
Yeah,
since I have light skin prejudice and biases, I can't say that.
It looks like a duck. It looks like a duck.
Wait, we're not ready to get into the twin breakup. We're not ready. So Tandy Newton,
I was dumped. We did not break up. Okay, I would put this out there.
Got you. Yes.
Facts
so let's
matter.
play. Now there was 2 videos. This is the one, I guess, where she's apologizing to dark-skinned actresses.
He didn't ask you anything, sir.
Let's go.
I've wanted so desperately to apologize every day to darker skinned actresses, to say I'm sorry that I'm the one chosen. My mama looks like you.
One. She said, "I'm sorry, I'm the chosen one." Damn, that's a wild statement.
I'm
sorry.
Right there, like
my
really.
mom looks like you,
right
and
these are Kyle Rittenhouse tears.
It's been very painful to have women that look like my mum.
Yeah, let it out. Let her get to it.
Let it out.
Like I'm not representing them.
Well, you're not.
That I'm taking from them.
Where are you taking?
Their men.
Taking their men.
Taking their truth.
Don't hate me.
Hey,
yo, what slogan was that in the 80s? Who was that? Is that Revlon or something?
Ridiculousness.
But she really sat there and said, "I'm sorry, I'm taking your men and your jobs. I don't mean to." That's giving me real crying in my Ferrari type vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like she's right, like Tanisha said it. She's married to a white man. But so like, where are you? Maybe she did that. Maybe that was her sacrifice. Maybe.
I don't get it, because literally what people have said when we talk about colorism is a depiction of Black women, especially darker skinned Black women, and have demanded more seats at the table and have demanded a diverse array of art depicting our lives. So I don't understand what's not connected when we say we need more of. And for some reason, when particularly Black women, darker skinned Black women, so we need more of something, people just hear you want to take away our rights or you want to take away something. No, a light-skinned woman should not be playing Nina Simone. Nina Simone was a dark-skinned, radical Black woman who talked about how her dark skin impacted her whole entire worldview.
You had the sister. What's the sister?
Zoe Saldana. That was a
no. What's the dark-skinned sister? She has the show on HBO. She's right there. Like no, she has a show on HBO about sexual assault. I forget her name.
Michaela.
Yes, she's right there. Like she's right there. She's a great actress. Like Zoe Saldana. Like why would you do that? You know, when they're just like you said, you have a darkened actress who's good that can play Nina Simone. Like why would you darken some light-skinned person's face? It's ridiculous. Go ahead, Miracle.
Right. And to talk about coming to America, you experience more violence and prejudice than Black women. Black women asking you to be our, darker skinned Black women say, be our ally, advocate for us in spaces, isn't as bullying you or being prejudiced against you. But again, I've been accused of being biased in the situation and hurting, the light skin. So I don't know if the Light Skin Coalition understands what I'm saying. So I may not be the person that you want to talk to, in this matter, in this regard.
That should be your new name change. One Hood's Light Skin Bully.
Oh my gosh. Maybe y'all should not be sensitive. Maybe you should not call someone a terrorist and then turn around and be sensitive. That's all I'm saying.
No, but it is wild. And there was another video that Tandy did where she talked about she was considered dark skinned in England. I don't know how that's even possible.
Like she's capping on that. Like
right. And then she said when she came to America, dark skinned women began to, and this is the thing, you gotta know. I mean, as a light skinned person, like I already know that because I look closer to a white person, there's more of an acceptance, right? I'm less threatening to them. You know what I'm saying? It's all of these things that play on that psychology. I know this, you know what I'm saying, as a light-skinned person, you know what I'm saying? And so if somebody says, okay, well, you might have gotten in or done this because of you being light-skinned, you're looked at more favorably. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not. It's like saying, like you said, like it's like the same as like men being allies to women. To say like women aren't getting certain positions, like as a man, I could be an ally, advocate, hey, no, we can't do this because there's no women here. We need to have a woman in this space. That doesn't take away from me because I'm a man, and that because I'm a man, I have certain privileges in this society. As a light-skinned person, I have privileges in a society based on white supremacy. Like, that's not hard to understand. And it's like, and it doesn't mean that you're not as talented. It doesn't mean that you're not as intelligent. It's just the way it is in this society. You know what I'm saying? And so if a darker skinned person points that out, don't be mad at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to your husband. Go talk to your husband. His people set the shit up. You know what I'm Farouk, Light Skin Nation, did you want to weigh in, brother? I guess you're the Eastern Soviet part of Light Skin Nation. Is that what you're representing?
Yeah, all light skin lives matter. all light skin lives matter. Until if all light skin lives don't matter, then no lives matter, man.
I just go back before you go, like taking your like the boldness to just.
I just want to know who asked her. Like, where did that come from? Like, was she auditioning for a role? Like, who asked you? Like, no one said
that shit was underhanded as fuck. Like, sorry they chose me. I don't know what to do about that.
Like, we're keeping it tall. Like,
it was like the most light-skinned thing you can do.
Centering yourself on Twitter, just like, hey, listen, by the way, I'm sorry. Right?
I want to apologize to darker skinned people.
I wonder, like, she wrote like that. To me, that had to have been an audition. Like, she can't.
Hey, bro, it's like the delete button is right there. Like, you can just put that in the drafts.
I wonder how long like she had it like on her mobile. Like, you know what? I'm gonna send this is gonna fuck the internet up. And I'm sure it's not the response that she thought she was gonna get. But yeah, my only question is like, yo, who asked you?
That's a great question. Treble?
I feel like her colorism even showed by how she kind of brought up her mom. She was kind of like, my mother looks like you, in like a kind of underhanded.
It was underhanded, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like she othered darker skinned women, almost like I might not be black like you, but my mom looks like you. It's like, what is you look like your mom?
Like her, right? You think you might resemble your own mother, right? What the fuck?
So yeah, the whole thing is just underhanded. And if I went and picked it apart, there's so many examples I could pull from, man.
Wild because like it's wild because in Crash, did you ever see Crash?
Yeah.
She's in Crash and there's a scene where she's messing with her husband in the car and the police pull her over and shine the light and they mistake her for a white woman and that's why they pull her over. Right? So it's like you already had a blueprint of what not to do or say. All you had to do was just like, I don't know.
But it's also weird because I know like a lot of times, and Hollywood's gotten in trouble for this. Like a lot of times in casting, they will say they want like a specific type of person, right? There was, I forget what movie it was, and they had they said they wanted, people to look a certain way. And I forget, you remember what movie?
Straight Outta Compton.
Okay, right. So they'll say like, oh, we want somebody light skin or we want somebody darker skin. A lot of times they'll say that in the thing. So it's like, whose jobs did you take? Who like the idea that you're looking at yourself? It's like, who gassed you to the point where you saw, oh, they chose me. And because they chose you, like some dark skinned woman is mad. Like you said, in the case of if you're playing an historic figure, you know what I'm saying? Like you should look like that historic figure. Like, nope, that shouldn't even be in dispute. You know what I'm saying? At that point. And it should be people like strong enough. Because remember, we talked about this with The Harder They Come, right? And I forget the light-skinned woman's name, but
Leslie Beats, she plays Stagecoach Mary, right?
She plays Stagecoach Mary, and Stagecoach Mary did not look like her, right? And there was like, can there be some mistake? That's when, as a ally, you say, well, hey, you know what? I went and did my research. I look nothing like this person. And although this is a great opportunity, it would be better if you had somebody that looked historically more like this darker skinned black woman. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like and then go get you another job. You know what I'm saying? You on Atlanta, you're on other TV shows. You know what I'm saying? There'll be other opportunities for you. I don't think that should be a problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe
I just had a random thought, but like the way white people operate around racism and colorism makes me feel like they'll hear this conversation and fuck around and cast a darker skinned person to play Malcolm X or some shit.
Well, I mean, we had Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Who was darker skinned.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, go try to find you an actor that was going to do that shit better than Denzel. I mean, Denzel did the thing, and it was amazing. So I think, like I said, I think it's more so when it's like
Bill Cosby funded part of Malcolm X.
Did that, and Chadwick Boseman played Thurgood Marshall too.
Chadwick Boseman played Thurgood Marshall.
Again, when we're talking about the depiction and description of black women, there is like a difference when it comes to the roles and opportunities. And even in both of those situations, it mattered because both of those men had light skin privilege that allowed them into certain spaces and places. Like a lot of in the 50s and 60s, the people who were in front of cameras were lighter skinned
100%.
Because when you have black and white cameras, they look like white or white presenting people. So they look as threatening on camera and in newspapers.
100%. No, that's 100%. So we have one more. I feel like we're not totally apologized out. We had one more, I don't know, apology, semi-apology before we get to our.
I don't think this person apologized. Did they?
What apology?
So we had been advocating for a conversation about cultural appropriation, about non-black people using quote unquote black scent. And we've had a lot of conversation on this show about Awkwafina, an Asian woman who came to fame by using black culture, black music, black language. And then the minute that she got famous, then talked about, I'll never play an Asian stereotype, while you built your career stereotyping the dialect and the culture and the music and doing it terribly, right? Doing like a mockery of it, even the name Awkwafina. And so she came out on Twitter with like you said, I wouldn't even call it an apology because I wouldn't even say.
She said, "I said what I said. Get over it." That's what she said. Like, that's really what she came to Twitter to do. And then when she went and liked all the comments from the non-black people that were supporting her, I just a further like thumb in the nose. You get me? Like,
I hate when people do something. It's kind of like that thing of like, I got children when it's like everybody else did it. Like, no, we're not talking about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I hate like when Awkwafina started to, it wasn't even an apology because she's like, as Asian people, we cannot mock anybody else. Like, no, we're not talking about Asian people. We were talking about you. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about what did you do?
Child.
What'd you say?
You were hiding a child. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
Right. It's like, what did you do? And like, are you sorry for what you did and how you built your career? And, she didn't really say that. And then not only that, but, there was a bunch of non-white people that basically said that kind of tweeted like, oh, there's you don't have to apologize for anything. She liked all of those tweets and then she quit Twitter. So
took her ball and went home.
Yeah. So what do you all think about Awkwafina's apology, non-apology, right? I don't know. Should we read it? You know what I'm saying?
Don't read that shit.
No, it wasn't an apology, and there wasn't any accountability. And again, for people who don't know, Awkwafina is the Asian woman who grew up in the suburbs in New York City. Two parents who were immigrants. She herself was not an immigrant. Her family was. She herself did not live or hang out or grow up in a predominantly Black area, right? She did not. When she got older, she had a multicultural set of friends, as a lot of folks. The issue is she used a Black accent, told people that she was from Queens, and said this was who she was. And then when she started doing press, people said, wait a minute. When you were rapping, when you were Awkwafina and you were doing press with Black people, you sounded a little different. So are you conforming? Are you assimilating? And then, kind of like Iggy Azalea, people went and said, oh, wait a minute, let us do our research. You're not one of us. Yeah. And what people need to understand with Black accent, and people keep talking about this all the time, Black people do not have a universal accent.
Correct.
Black people in New Orleans do not sound like Black people in Atlanta, do not sound like Black people in Pittsburgh, do not sound like Black people in Baltimore. But somehow, all of these non-Black people have the same Black accent. And it's like you were watching TV and you're picking up how one particular set of Black people talk. And then that's how you now sound. Right. So again, that's why it's so important when we're talking about the depictions of Blackness and Black people and why stereotypes are like detrimental. We're tired of hearing your fake Black accent, right? We're tired of you doing the neck rolls wrong, snapping off beat, popping off beat, darkening your skin, blackfishing. And then when you get successful, or when you find a controversy, want to all of a sudden become Black. It's like played out and ridiculous.
So I did want to read this one thing. She said, because like to touch on that, she said, but as a non-Black POC, I stand by the fact that I will always listen. And it's funny because then she deleted her Twitter. She was like, I'm going to listen for 5 minutes and delete my Twitter. She said, always listen and work tirelessly to understand the history and context of AAVE, what is deemed appropriate or backwards towards the progress of any and every marginalized group. But I must emphasize, to mock, belittle, or to be unkind in any way possible at the expense of others is, now she bolded and underlined this, simply not my nature. It never has, it never was. So she's basically saying, like, y'all might have seen me do the Black accent, you know, you might have seen me do all that she was not mocking, she was not belittling. And I guess she feels like it's her place to say, as a non-Black PC, she's going to speak for, I guess, us. I don't know. We can't say she was mocking us. We can't say she was belittling us because she said she never has. That's never in her nature. That's never in her character. So she kind of went like Trump.
Her,
you know what I mean?
Kid Rock, Chet Hanks. Like, we see it. You're playing a character, and you're mocking people when it's not who you are. As actors, as comedians, you're taking on personas. But like, you know, the lady who looks like her, who always looks like Shanae, like those are characters. Like, but there are real people behind those characters,
but
and
it's not in her nature,
not your
Miracle.
intent. That's what you're doing.
But it's simply not in her nature, Miracle. And the reason we know it's simply not in her nature is because she bolded that. She underlined it, and
may not be in her nature, but
it's
in her nature.
After all of those words. But it was weird because, like you said, like if she's listening, she should be open with a conversation, right? And it should be a conversation with her and Black women, right? She should sit down and
she can be like Tandy. Can be like,
yo,
I hear you. I'm taking your roles and your men and your accent. I'm sorry I was chosen to.
That's going to be the next Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan sits down with Tandy Newton and Awkwafina for a conversation about apologies and Blackness. Yeah. Comments, Saeed, Shaheem, the S's?
Listen, the most disappointing part about this is the fact that, like, her tone isn't apologetic at all. It's not more so like, I'm tired of y'all bringing this up. Yep. I am not making fun of Black people. I don't care what y'all seen or heard me do in the past. I don't do those things anymore. So let's stop talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it feels like every time she speaks about it. Right.
And that's really what it was, right? If it was like, and that's the thing, like, and it's, I I don't know, like, I mean, like, do you have, like, did somebody help you write this? Do you have like any type of publicist, something? You know what I'm saying? Like to say, like, because it would be like, this is the month, right? You got this NAACP Image Awards, which in itself is also laughable, right? But it's like to say, like, yo, like if Tandy wants to have a conversation, right, and say, hey, you know, I like to have a conversation with Black women, Black actresses about, like, how do we view one another? How can we work together? How can we work out some of these issues that we have? Can we have a larger conversation? How can I be a better ally, right? How can I be of more support? Like, now we're talking, right? Now we can say, oh, no, we appreciate that. And now you're actually listening and getting into the crowd, because, like, it's not an apology if you're going to do the same thing again, right? If you're going to do the same thing and the same behavior, then why even apologize in the first place? But just to like say, like, oh man, what? Black shit? Mocking Black people? That's never in my nature. Like, how dare you? And then, you know, she'll probably go work with some more Black people. And again, like, I just feel like at some point, like, we as Black people got to say, like, nah, man, like, I ain't working with her. Take my shit off Spotify. Like, at some point, we got to do something, man. God damn. Soviet.
I believe that I'm taking a step off of what Treble just said. It was less about her saying, why are you messing with me? It was more so like, shit, I'm making money off you just like everybody else is. So why are you talking about me? Why aren't you talking about everybody else? Like, and she's like, I'm a person of color. Why are you discriminating against me? I'm not white. Like, so I can't harm you the way that you think that I'm harming you. That's what I honestly believe she believes. It's like, I can't be racist because I'm right. Yeah. I can't be offensive towards Black people because I'm.
But if we're saying, if there's Black people saying, hey, when you did this,
she's saying you're wrong. She's saying you're wrong, Jasiri. That's what she's saying. She said you're wrong.
I mean,
it's not in my nature. You're wrong.
I guess so, man. I guess so. And the listening,
she punctuated it so strongly by quitting Twitter.
Right, and then just say, right, like every non-Black person's post that said she didn't have to apologize, and then bounce. Like, what the fuck?
But let's be honest, she tried to use an anti-Black stereotype of Black women being aggressive because she hadn't been posting on Twitter for a couple of years, number one. True. And number two, a lot of those white people who were liking those comments are other white people or non-white people of color who be in Black spaces. So like, once again, the weakest links keep allowing these people into the circle.
True.
And then want to be like, oh, why you want to complain about it now? Like R. Kelly, why are you getting upset now? It's like, well, now now you're finally having to listen. Stop doing it.
Right. And I think too, like, it was interesting because there was one guy who just asked a question. Like, hey, you know, I think Aquafina, it wasn't even like disrespectful, straight blocked. Like, no listening, no, like, he was straight blocked. So it'll be interesting to see, I think, like, you know, in all these cases, like, where do we go from here, right? Do we just go back to, I don't know.
I wonder if Andrew Yang came to her defense.
Oh, I forgot about Andrew Yang talking about Joe Rogan can't be racist. He works with a bunch of Black people. Like, that's your thing? Like he worked with Black people.
Again, who asked you? Who asked you, bro? Big man thing, yeah? Like, on a level. Who asked you?
I just, you know, people just
that's
like
y'all's friends.
People was like slavery. I don't know. Slavery. There was a lot of white people working with Black. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, but just like you said, it's just like at some point, like, you know, it's Black History Month. Maybe just be quiet. Like, maybe like
11 months out the year to do this, right?
Yeah, like Aquafina would have been better off not saying anything
because she was getting away with it.
Tandy Newton would have been better off not saying any, like, it's okay. Andrew Yang, how about this? Don't say any, like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's okay. This ain't your thing. This ain't your thing to talk about, bro. We're not, you're not the arbiter of who's racist or not to Black people. You don't know. Like, this is the thing. You're a politician that ran for president and mayor of New York, and you don't have the sense to know that it's not your place to speak on something like that. Like if you're not aware enough of that, how you gonna run something, man? Like, get out of here. Miracle, you were gonna say something?
Anti-Blackness is universal. We saw so many people come out
Yeah.
from all types of backgrounds talking about it's just the N-word.
Yeah.
Like he can say
Y'all
whatever
say it.
slur he wants. I was just like, just unprovoked. Like people just got on Twitter and just said, you know what, let me just say I'm something of a racist myself and put it out there. And it was just like, why during Black History Month do y'all just have to like just show and reveal your true selves? Like
you're speaking of that. I mean, your boy Big T came out and said, you shouldn't apologize for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like this is, like, so we already know that Donald Trump has
he's y'all's friend.
Donald Trump has like a documented history of racism. He's like, he wouldn't even apologize to the Central Park Five. Like evidence proved they did not do the crime. Yeah. They got overturned. They got money for it. The document. He wouldn't even apologize to them. So he's not going to apologize for nothing. Zero, nothing. You know what I'm saying? And just like you said, he like, I'm racist. I don't, and in many ways, he like, I'm white. I'm wealthy. I have power. I don't have to apologize. And if I don't apologize, guess what? It don't matter because it's going to be, 9 out of 10 Black people going to come pose for a picture with me anyway, whether I apologize or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's when Miracle, when you talk about the weakest link, it's us. The weakest link is us because we're so fucking desirous to be accepted that we just gonna go and kick it with these motherfuckers. That somebody's gonna do a movie with Aqua, she's gonna be in some movie with another Black person. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna accept all of these. There's, Joe Rogan gonna have some Black person come to his defense. I'm waiting to see which one is gonna go on his show and have a conversation with him and shoot him bail. You know what I'm saying? For that reason, I mean, we already know what it is. So I did want to know if there was one other apology coming.
It's not happening. He's not going to apologize. And I don't need an apology for someone who isn't sorry for what they did.
So just a little bit of background, and I'll let you talk.
He's laughing because he doesn't care.
We had a production meeting where we talked about, that, we're trying to get the sound right. We're trying to get all the production, shout out to John who does our production and does a great job behind the scenes. Y'all don't see him, but he does a great job. So we talked about, the audio, right? So we talked about the audio for Miracle and Farouk. You can't separate the audio because they're the twins, right? They're on the same microphone. And before John could even get the whole sentence,
Farouk said, I don't want to work with this bitch, and I'm tired of being with her. So, like, I honestly say we can separate. It is. Thank you so much.
I looked at it from a logistics standpoint. I was like, oh, okay.
No, let me give you the backstory on this because all these weak men and their feelings.
You're the one emotional. You're the one in your bag.
A few weeks ago, I said, I'm Miracle. I represent the Black people who have 2 Black parents and don't have to prove they're Black.
Right. We don't have to go on.
It was Instagram a joke.
Yes.
It was tongue in cheek. Yes. However, ever since then, someone has been in their feelings about, you don't think I'm Black enough. So every episode, he's like, well, Miracle doesn't think we're Black. And in our production meetings, Miracle said, Jasiri and I can't comment because we're not Black enough. And basically use this as a pretext to sit there and say he don't want to work with me anymore. Instead of saying, I don't want to work with you, he let Gary do the alley-oop.
That's funny.
You act like
it was a quickness.
Like
so one, Farouk, did that bother you when Miracle said?
Yes.
The only thing, how you gonna speak for me?
Because you lying. Because I know you and you lying. Just say yes.
Did it bother you?
Me.
So what bothered you?
The only thing that ever bothered me that you ever said, I told you about it. I was like, don't say I have a shrine to a light-skinned man in my house. Like, I checked you on that. I was like, don't say that shit to me.
First of all, you did not check me on that.
Wait, who's the light-skinned man?
That's haram and that's disrespectful.
Who's the light-skinned man?
My religion, even if you're joking.
I'm lost.
Yeah, that's a check.
Like, we not on the block. You ain't checking nobody, bro. Like, what?
Okay, anyway. So look at the head. So they're like, damn.
But at the end of the day, outside is back open. Farouk said he is a free agent, and
so I have some questions. Who was the person in your house?
J. Cole, a rapper I don't even like.
Wow.
Like a rapper.
He is biracial too. That's so funny. So yeah, right. And it wasn't the person was like shrine. The idea
was no
was
shrine.
There was
No shrine.
Yeah.
Farouk is the active
because I remember. I think I might have said
Islam, and he felt that was offensive when I made the joke.
Yeah, and that was it.
I think I might have said
thick skin, like
but I think I said something like that to you as well, and you was like, nah. I forget what.
Don't try to make. We're not the same, Jasiri. You were not his twin. I was.
Like the big.
I was his twin on one show.
I'm a tough person to offend. So you saying like I think it's funny that you would say, "Oh yeah, I don't have to co-opt in and out of blackness." Like to me, that's funny. Like
I'm not even talking about you, smart ass. Like you were taking it sensitive. I be talking about the people we be talking about because nobody even knew The Rock was black until a couple of years ago.
That is true. That is true. People thought he was Hawaiian. We didn't.
I don't go petty shots at y'all four or y'all three. I look petty shots at other people.
You be eating your petty spaghetti, Miracle.
Farouk said he be catching shrapnel.
As a petty ass nigga, I know it.
But what Miracle? So okay, so like you said, right? So now, like you said, when you make that joke, it could like you maybe weren't directing it at us, right? You know what I'm saying? Although I do have two black parents, like no disrespect to nobody that does not, but they are both like, you know what I'm saying? And I have been, there's people that ask me about biracial all my whole life. So I already understand, like, you know what I'm saying? I used to be.
I go up for y'all too all the time.
I know, but I'm saying
you don't. We're not saying you don't.
Publicly and privately.
Thank you, Miracle. Thank you, Miracle.
Number two, it was just the fact that Farouk didn't need any provocation to be like, I'm not gonna work with her no more. He wasn't even it wasn't even like that sucks. I guess we'll have to be in separate studios.
That's not.
It wasn't like, is there a mic with two microphones out there in the universe?
So how do we come back together? Like, how do we bring the twins?
We're not. Once it's broken, it doesn't need to be put back together.
Miracle!
Number
Come
one.
on.
Number two, we're supposed to be in April, all filming together.
Yeah. Well, hopefully sooner than that. Hopefully, very soon, we're gonna be in a studio. You know, for those that don't know, we have a space we're putting together. So the hope is that we're all gonna be together. So I guess that's the next time the twins are going to be back together.
I mean, I'm not the one who broke us up, so it's not on me.
What if Farouk shows up at your house at 5:55 to do the show?
I'm a Sagittarius. That's not no.
What if you it's 5:55 and you're by the office and you can't make it back to your house?
Who, me?
No, Miracle. Do you do the show?
I have to go into one of the other rooms.
Oh, this is that is a great question. Has anyone seen or heard from Woogie? Where's Woogie at?
That is a great question.
I talked to him a couple weeks ago. I need him. I'll message him.
Okay, yeah, message Woogie. Where's Woogie? Woogie, we miss you. That's a great question. Thank you, Virginia. You on it today.
But we're not fighting. I have love for Farouk, even though he doesn't want to hang out with me. That is something that's totally separate. I let people be who they are, and I give space because I know sometimes in friendships you have to have space.
Oh my God!
Sometimes it's like a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And if he was just a leaf on my tree, it's just how it is. I can't change that.
That is so funny. Oh my!
Life is in waves. You just move with it. And go.
Well, we'll work on it. You know, shout out to
we don't have to work. There's nothing to be worked on.
Carol asked the twins stop fighting. You know what I'm saying? You'll still work together.
Nobody's fighting.
We're still. Why you got? See, he's lying. That's how he's high pitched.
Who's on your jacket, by the way?
Oh, God bless the dead. It's Sean Price.
Oh, that's Sean Price. Okay, shout out to Sean Price.
Somebody asked where you got your hat from because they wanted it.
Yeah, they did ask me where you got it.
Oh, shit. Ecap City? Ecapcity.com.
So I guess do we want to, what's our call? We have do we have our calls to actions? I know, are we gonna do the same we're gonna ask people to sign the petition for Peter Spencer?
Yeah, we have a couple of different calls to actions. Again, putting stuff down For the petition for Peter Spencer, we're trying to get that to $25,000. I mean, lies to 25,000 signatures.
Are we at 20,000 yet? Because I know that was the last number, like 19 or 20,000.
We're inching closer and closer.
Okay. So yes, please. Is that in the chat? Is it did someone?
It's 19.5. So we're 19.5, but we're trying to get to and this is change.org. This is shout out to and we're hoping to have them on the show, the Hunters of Color.
May I talk about the Peter Spencer case really quick?
Sure.
I've had a lot of people that have seen us posting it and everything from different parts of the world reach out and ask why this isn't becoming like a national news, like a national headline. And that's a great question. That is a great question. I think Miracle has said something. We were on the call talking to the Hunters of Color. It's like because Pittsburgh is so insular, and the fact that this is just another dead black body that isn't really catching any national attention. It's not really news to a lot of people, and that's why we have to make all of the facts very transparent for the media. The fact that a black man was invited on a hunting trip and was shot 9 times at distance by hunting rifles. And we have to keep in mind that you don't shoot, and when you go hunting, you don't shoot anything 9 times. And if you hit it, you're not eating it because you just ruin the meat. And it's not like you're in an area that's densely wooded with foliage on the trees. This is December, right? You're north, right? You're in the north. So nothing's going to have trees on it. And you're going to notice something that's bipedal in an orange vest. That's why hunters wear orange, because it's very close to yellow, and humans are trichromatic people, trichromatic creatures that can recognize all these different colors of the spectrum. So for a black person to be shot 9 times on a hunting trip, this isn't some Dick Cheney type thing in it. Was it accident or someone got shot in the butt? He was shot from 360 degrees, which means surrounding his body.
Yeah. But it has, just to say, there has been some national attention on it.
It's starting to gain national attention, but nowhere near to where it needs to be amplified to. So please sign the petition, share it. The more I talk about it, the more you talk to other people about it, the more insidious it becomes, because they really just invited this man on a hunting trip to kill him.
I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean,
that's what it looks like. Yeah,
for the look, because it said he was shot from a distance. We also have another call to action. It's a family that that does a lot for the Pittsburgh community, that are all artists. They formerly ran a place called the Flower House. This is our Darnell Naomi Chambers, and we're asking people to help them secure their home. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of artists, it's like finding a place to live, right? A place that you can call your home is difficult, right? When you're doing art and they're doing conscious, revolutionary art for our community, of our people. So they need $15,000 by February 15th. They're at 13.5. So it's not going to take a lot of, if all of us jumped in and, gave $20, they could hit that mark of 15,000 to secure their house. So shout out to Darnell and Naomi, good people that we've worked with, and just do a lot for the community of Pittsburgh. So shout out to them as well.
And I have one more financial request. So we talked about Peter Spencer being murdered earlier. His fiance is actually pregnant. Is found out during this time that she was pregnant, so has been grieving and trying to also have a healthy pregnancy. And so people are trying to raise funds to make sure she has a doula and access to health care during this time. So, pregnancy in our community is a maternal health crisis, and a lot of Black women, particularly here in the Pittsburgh area, are at risk for maternal mortality and infant mortality. And so we're asking people to donate for her fund, and the GoFundMe will go up next week, but right now it's her Cash App. It's the $Carmi25, CARMI 25. So please, you can donate to her at this time, because she's going through it, trying to grieve, the family's fighting and marching,
right,
and going through this. So she needs support as well.
That when you posted that in the chat, That really made me sad to just like think of like everything and like totality of it. This like you know, I didn't know the brother, right? I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him. But the more gravity this I think this thing kind of takes up in our lives, the heavier it becomes. And it's just like it's all the scary things that happen. Ahmaud Arbery was really scary because it's someone who's athletic, right? I jog through neighborhoods, and I remember saying, I don't like to jog through white neighborhoods for that very specific reason.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? As someone who moved to Pittsburgh, like all of us did, with the exception of Treble, when you move to a new area, you don't know where Black people are and aren't, right?
Right.
And that's the scary thing. Like it's just there's just so many really. This is like real life.
It's like a horror movie, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's like a horror movie. You're jogging, you're minding your own business, jogging, and here comes some dudes that want to take your life. I mean,
literally make movies about this. Like
you
gets made about these topics, and
you can't imagine, right? And you know, we used to talk about lynching like it was a past thing, and we're seeing that it's still existing. And so for White Pages today, we wanted to bring up, I don't know if you all have seen, shout out to W. Kamau Bell. He has a documentary coming out talking about, we need to talk about Bill Cosby. And if you see the clip going on for Mark Lamont Hill, he tells this amazing, I don't know if you saw that, Miracle, Mark Lamont Hill's Bill Cosby story. So caused me to want to bring out this book. This is the first book I remember reading from Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, The Classroom in the Cell, Conversations of Black Life in America. It's Mark Lamont Hill in conversation with Mumia Abu-Jamal, somebody that Mark Lamont Hill has advocated for. So shout out to Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. I guess I can't apologize for Bill Cosby, but Bill Cosby, wow. That's a whole nother conversation about, like, you know, we talked about Cliff Huxtable was a character. Bill Cosby, a nigga. Right. Go watch the documentary and see for yourself.
Is it
What'd you say?
Is the documentary out yet?
I don't know. I think it's coming. I think it might be on Showtime or coming soon on Showtime.
It's on Showtime, but I don't know.
Somebody found that clip, and it is a wild story. So The Classroom in the Cell, man, there was so much other, definitely want to say, we stand with the folks in Minneapolis, calling for justice in the murder of Amir Locke. It's just a lot going on. Just make sure you take time out for your own self-care, for some joy, for some happiness. Go dye your hair green. You know what I'm saying? Like, do shit that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? This Black Don't let all these white people take our joy for Black History Month. Damn it, we're gonna celebrate.
Or Aquafina. Don't let Aquafina take our joy.
Don't let Aquafina take our joy. Don't let somebody, asking for their own mic. Don't let that take your joy. You will be.
My joy is not taken.
Good, Miracle. I'm just making sure. Fine. We want you to still be joyful.
You know what?
So enjoy. Well, I guess we'll be back next week. Until then,
I was just about to say that. Will we?
Well, maybe.
Are we out of town next week?
No, I mean, I'll be back. I'm going to do a little, little. Maybe
I think you're supposed to be on vacation next week.
I'll be back. You know what I'm saying?
We'll be on vacation. Jasiri will be on vacation for his birthday. We'll have guests next week to talk.
Maybe we'll see. Would you say, Farouk?
Is it time to harvest the avocados again?
It might be, man. It might be avocado harvesting time. And then, right, hopefully we'll have guests next week. So maybe, but like I said, I don't know, man. I need that twin energy.
Jasiri, stop. It is Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's Day next week. So remember, get all the love, get all the chocolates, not the dark chocolate, because I like to buy them the day after Valentine's Day. So
Farouk, maybe you can put a little package together for your twin. All right, so
Farouk and I are fine. We're just two separate individuals now instead of twins.
So anyway, I guess you may have to find out what happens next week on This Week in White Supremacy. To be continued.
No, it's the final chapter.
It's the final chapter. It's the final countdown.
We'll see y'all next week.
We agreed. See, we're happy ending. We're good.
Peace and love, y'all.
Bye.
to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and they wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even